Committee. They're the creators of the following political ad that went viral a couple years ago. Let's take a look.
Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours.
Everyone's talking about who's gonna die next. Even I said before it might be large TV man. Some think it'll be camera woman, others say someone from the G Squad. But here's the weird part. Why is everyone so sure it'll be someone from the Alliance? Why is no one even considering that someone from Astro might die? Just imagine for a second. What if the Watchman of Doom dies? Or even the Duchess? Sounds crazy, right? You're probably like, hell nah, bruh. There is no freaking way. They are too important, etc. But what if I told you it actually could happen? And I've got a theory that explains exactly how. I've been thinking about Boom's answer, because this whole time, we've only been talking about the obvious deaths and plot twists, stuff that's right in front of us. But the way Boom answered that question, he basically said, guys, think bigger. Stop basing everything just on what you saw in the first part. At least that's how I understand it. Not gonna lie, bro. I'm taking this like it's a life or death challenge, no joke. We have to lock in and predict at least one major twist before it drops. This isn't just for fun anymore, we're in deep now. And that's why I want to talk about the least expected deaths that might actually turn out to be real. This video's gonna hit hard, so make sure your brain's switched on, because we're going deep. Every detail matters, and only by watching till the very end will the full picture start to make sense. Hello friends, you're on the channel. Subscribe to the channel and press the like button under the video to speed up the release of the next video. And let's go. Last time I dropped a whole theory about why Large TV Man could be the one to die. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. But first, let's clarify something. The chance that Large TV Man dies? I'd still put it at around 50%, which is honestly a pretty high chance. Now, let's go through all the other possible deaths, and I'll give you my rough predictions based on how I see all that stuff. Aside from Large TV Man, I think there's a 70% chance that someone from the G Squad dies. And here's why. The G Squad was supposed to distract the Watchmen of Doom, but they retreated instead. And these guys don't really strike me as the type to just run from battle. Which means there's only one real explanation. It was part of their plan. At the end of the episode, the Watchman activated that deadly red beam. But while he's using it, he's completely open to attacks from behind. That's where DJ could play a huge role. Let me remind you, out of everyone in the G Squad, DJ was the only one who didn't appear in this episode. Hugo Boss is currently with the Speakermen, but DJ? There's a real possibility that he's been upgraded, made much larger, more powerful, maybe with some kind of weapon that can seriously damage the Watchmen of Doom. That might even be the hidden message Boom was trying to hint at. But even if that's the case and DJ becomes their surprise weapon, someone from the squad is still likely to die. And I see three possible candidates. First, there's Berserk. He seems like the leader of the group, and usually in shows or anime, the leader ends up dying in a key fight, leaving the rest to the main characters. Second, there's DJ Toilet himself. If he really does appear and goes up against the Watchman, he might be able to stall him long enough or push him to his limit. But in the end, DJ might not survive, especially considering Boom's words that the Watchman hasn't shown his full potential yet. So DJ and the rest of the squad might force him to reveal his trump card, his final form basically, and pay the price. And then there's Michael Jackson. Boom gave him some very specific attention this episode, like the moment where Michael was being praised and looked awkward. What was that scene even for? It almost felt like a subtle signal that he might be the one to die. Now you might be wondering, why didn't I mention someone like Mafia Toilet as a possible death? And my logic here is simple. Mafia Toilet literally just got massive upgrades. He's semi-Titan now with a brand new design. Why kill off a character you just revamped? Think about it. Hugo Boss also got a redesign. Did he die? Of course not. But what about Michael Jackson and Berserk? They didn't get any updates. They stayed exactly the same. Why waste time making new models for characters who are just going to die soon anyway? So yeah, it kind of makes sense. Although to be fair, you can't bet everything on that. Sometimes animators really do put a ton of effort into a new design for a character who ends up dying just a few seconds later. That could be the case with DJ if he shows up with some crazy upgrades. But still, most of the time, when someone gets a fresh new look, they're probably not getting sacrificed right after. But of course, you also have to consider how important a character is. Take Mafia Toilet. He probably won't die because he just got a big upgrade. and he's not the kind of key figure you'd kill off right after that. But with someone like the Watchman of Doom, it's a different story. Even though he also got a completely new design, he's such a major character that it makes sense for Boom to put in all that effort, even if he's going to die. His importance alone justifies the work. So yeah, redesigns usually mean a character is safe. Unless they're too important, in which case they might still die, but they'll go out looking epic. Now what about Camera Woman? A lot of people still believe she might die. But honestly, I think the chances of that are around 1%. The lowest out of everyone I've mentioned, or will mention later. To me, it just wouldn't make sense to kill her off. She's literally one of the most important characters in the entire series. After Plunger's death, she basically stepped up as the leader, carrying the whole fight on behalf of the cameramen. And let's not forget how closely she's tied to the Alpha Hills storyline, which is one of the biggest ongoing mysteries in the show. Of course, Boom is the one driving the story, so anything can happen. But in my opinion, Camera Woman is way too central to everything. And seriously, think about it. Why would Boom show us all her emotions, her flashbacks, her feelings for Dave, only to kill her off right after? We've seen her struggle, her pain, her determination. All of that was built up for a reason. You don't give a character that much emotional depth just to toss them aside. That kind of storytelling only works if it leads somewhere important. She might be the one who actually unlocks the truth behind Alpha Hills. I don't know exactly how she'll survive. Maybe G-Squad helps her. Maybe Secret Agent shows up, or maybe someone else jumps in at the last second. Doesn't matter. From where I'm standing, there's a 99% chance she makes it out alive. She has to. All right, let's get into something a little wilder. What if the Watchman of Doom actually dies? I'd put that chance at about 20%. Low, but not impossible. Here's why it's at least on the table. Right now, the Watchman's pretty beaten up. Boom basically nerfed him because instead of blocking everything with his shield, the guy's been tanking hits like he's immortal. Suppose G-Squad really does have a plan and slams him from behind. Yeah, they probably won't finish him, but they could push him to his absolute limit. And that's exactly when a bigger player, say G-Man, could walk in. G-Man has a solid shot at showing up in Part 2 or around episode 80, and I can see him finishing off a half-dead Watchman of Doom. The twist, though, is that the Watchman of Doom still hasn't shown his full potential. He's got some hidden ace he'll definitely unleash on G-Man. So G-Man would be forced to go all out. He might hold back at first, trying to save TV-Man and yank out the parasite, but if TV-Man unleashes everything, G-Man can't afford restraint and might end up killing him. Again, odds of the Watchman dying are only about 20%, so it's mostly Theoryland. But remember, after 79 episodes, not one Titan has actually died. If the series is headed to, say, 120 episodes, somebody big has to go eventually. And honestly, no one fits the role of a major death better than Watchman of Doom. Let me explain. Titan Speaker Man hasn't even shown up yet, but when he does, we already know he'll be upgraded. That alone gives him death immunity for at least the next 5 to 10 episodes. Titan Cameraman? He's expected to appear somewhere around episode 83 or 85, and there's no way they're killing him off right after that. So when you really think about it, Watchman of Doom is the perfect candidate. The show feels like it's already about 60% finished, and we still haven't seen a truly major, shocking death like Death of the Titan. That needs to change. Losing someone like the Watchman would finally raise the stakes and open the door for something new, like the arrival of a new race and their own Titan. And with new Titan from the new race, the Alliance won't feel weaker. In fact, the opposite. Their sacrifice would only add weight to the story and make the battlefield feel real again. And it's not about wanting a Titan dead. It's about avoiding repetition. Titans lose, get upgrades, come back, get infected, get saved, rinse and repeat. That loop can't run forever. Titan Speakerman got infected and rescued. Doing the exact same thing with Titan TV Man would feel predictable and, honestly, dull. Anyway, I'd say the chance of Titan TV Man dying is about 20% when it comes to Part 2 of Episode 79 and Episode 80. But if we're talking about the next 5-6 episodes overall, then I think the chance goes up to around 40%. But we're not done yet. There's one more possible death, and that's the Duchess. Personally, I think the chance of her dying is only 5%, which is really low. How could she die, though? One way is that G-Man shows up in full Titan form and manages to take out both the injured Watchman of Doom and the Duchess. That might work, but only if he's in full power, not the version we saw back in Season 25. Another option is that he gets help, maybe from Titan Speakerman, maybe from the Executor. There's even a chance the Armada finishes off Astro and rushes in to help the Alliance. With that kind of backup, they could maybe beat both of them. But here's the problem. If the Duchess dies, then the Watchman would probably have to die too. It's obvious that if he's alive, he won't let anyone attack the Duchess, and they'll have to deal with him too. And killing off two major characters at once feels very unlikely. Almost a 0% chance. There's also another version of the story. What if they manage to remove the parasite from the Watchman without killing him, and then all of them team up and defeat the Duchess together? That's more possible. But again, I still think the odds are super low. Only 5%, because for that to happen, everything would have to line up perfectly. And like I said earlier, we're probably at the point where at least one Titan needs to die. So repeating the same parasite removal plot like we had with Speaker Man would feel too predictable. But here's the real question. Could Daddy G-Man actually kill his own daughter? That would be an absolutely heartbreaking moment. If that happens, G-Man's world would never be the same again. By the way, if you're confused about the whole Duchess is G-Man's daughter thing, I actually broke that theory down in this video. I've mentioned it before, but recently even more clues started popping up, suggesting her mind was brainwashed and that she really is his daughter. I was planning to include that info in this video, but honestly, this one's already long enough. So I'll definitely dive into that next time. For now, that's all I've got. Let me know what you think about all that, and see you soon.